Hello and welcome to our May 21st, 2020 Arts and Culture Commission meeting. We can go ahead and get started with roll call, please.
Roll call, Commissioners Oshagan,
Yes.
Vyar,
Here.
Vidor,
Here.
Vice Chair Tufankian,
Yes.
Chairperson Zadorian.
Yes.
Report of a recorder regarding posting of the agenda. The agenda for the May 21st, 2020 regular meeting was posted on May 18th, 2020 on the bulletin board outside of City Hall. Agenda item 2, consent items. A, approval of the regular minutes for April 16th, 2020.
Okay. Do we have any comments or changes we'd like to make to the minutes? Okay. I take that as we're ready to go ahead and move forward. I'll go ahead and make a motion to pass the minutes of the Special Arts and Culture Commission meeting of April 16. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Vidor or Vyar?
That was Arlene.
Arlene. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vidor.
Okay, roll call. Commissioners Oshagan,
Yes.
Vyar,
Yes.
Vidor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tufankian,
Yes.
Chairperson Zadorian.
Yes.
Agenda item 3, introductions and presentations. A, library arts and culture events presented by Jennifer Fukutomi Jones, Arts and Culture Administrator, and that is me. So we are going to head on and talk about all the fantastic things that the library has been doing in the past month and coming up. So up first, we have our Summer Reading Challenge. The annual Summer Reading Challenge SRC program returns to the Glendale Library Arts and Culture Department from June 1st to August 31st, 2020. GLAC has partnered with Beanstalk to help make this year's SRC available to all readers of all ages. You can sign up for the 2020 Summer Reading Challenge by visiting Glendale's Beanstalk site at the link that's addressed at the bottom. Create an account and a username and a password, and then you can also delineate whether you want to register as an individual or a family member. If you have any questions, you can call the library staff at 818-548-2021. Also, as part of the Library Arts and Culture's plethora of e-resources that are offering that we mentioned during the April 16th meeting, the library website has been transformed into an easily accessible virtual space with thousands of hours of e-content to help Glendale residents informed, entertained, and learning. For all the craft nerds and parents out there, you can now enjoy thousands of award-winning craft and art videos taught by recognized design experts and artists through Creative Bug. And you can also visit the link online for more information for Creative Bug. Next up, we have the Brand Library online exhibitions, and the Brand Library staff has developed new online exhibitions for their website, capturing exhibits back from 2018. Photographic exhibition tours, artist statements, and more are now accessible from the gallery link on the Brand's main website, allowing customers to enjoy the great works from the Brand Library at home. And you can also visit the link online so you can see all the fantastic past exhibitions at the Brand. Last up, we have the Brand Associates have launched their Brand 48 annual National Juried Exhibition of Works on Paper. The application is now closed with an extended deadline to June 1st, 2020, and qualified candidates are encouraged to submit their materials through the call for entry website by June 1st, 2020. And for more information, you can visit the link below. And that's our library report.
Okay. We can
Next up, agenda item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there are no debate or decision. The commission may refer to this matter to the city staff for investigation or report.
Okay. As of right now, I don't believe we have any calls or speakers. I just asked if we do, if we want to wait just a moment. If not, we can go ahead. Oh, we have one line. Hello, you're live.
Hi, this is Nina Crow. I'm the managing director for Glendale Arts.
Hi,
And
Nina.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that Glendale Arts launched a charity GoFundMe campaign to provide artists relief, helping artists specifically living in Glendale and are facing a loss of income due to the coronavirus. And we're very fortunate that we have a generous community that has made substantial donations towards this campaign, and we are continuing to accept the donations through May. And the artist application is now available, and it will be closing on May 25th. So I would like to encourage artists that have suffered a loss due to their non-ability to work at the moment, and they need help to pay a bill or get medicine or buy groceries. I would encourage them to apply for the aid, and all the information is on the Glendale Arts website.
Great. Is that all that you wanted to discuss with us?
That's all I wanted to just make those remarks, and thank you for your all your hard work in the community.
Thank you, Nina, and yours as well. We'll make sure to go ahead and share that link until the end of, I guess, May, and so when people can still donate. Thank you so much for
Yes.
calling in.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Okay. Hello, you're on the call.
Hi, my name is Larissa Lopez. I'm just here to introduce myself to the Arts and Culture Commission.
Hi. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm Larissa. I'm an arts management student at Claremont Graduate University. I'm going to be apprenticing with Jennifer Fukutomi Jones over the summer to create a public arts archive for the city of Glendale. And I just want to express my gratitude for you all having me on the project, and I'm very excited to get started. So I just want to introduce myself and express that to you all.
Thank you. Thank you for calling, and we're so excited to hear from you. And we're very much looking forward to meeting you in person and all the work you're going to be doing. We've been looking for somebody to take this on for a while, and we're very excited that somebody at a local college who's actually doing this as a professional career in the future and wants some experience. So thank you so much. We're looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I look forward to getting started. I'm really excited.
Thank you.
Loreto, before you leave, can you just share a little bit about your background, and specifically your museum background and the project that you're going to be working on? I think you touched a little bit on it, but we're really excited to begin working with you, especially based on your background.
Yeah, so I have some previous background working in archives through some internships I held in undergrad, and also in a job I had at LACMA. I worked with their archives as well, and helping them with their job called PACMA, so moving everything from their old building to their new building. So I was in charge of documenting all that. So I was really excited when I saw the project for Jennifer, and it had some, experience that I had, and I thought it fit well. And researching the collections management system to fit the Public Arts Archive for the website, I think is really great, especially with considering everything that's going on right now, and having the people interact with art digitally, even though it's not in person. I think it's a really great way to help the community grow stronger and improve the community. So I'm really excited to get started on this, and I really appreciate you all having me on board.
Thank you, and thank you for all that background information. It's exactly what we've been looking for and what we need, so this is great. Thank you, Jennifer, for also making this happen and kind of confirming it all so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you for calling in. Please
Thank you.
stay
Thank you
safe.
for having me.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, we have line 3. Hello, you're on the line.
Improve the community. So I'm really excited.
Hi.
Hi, do you mind just muting the background?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for all that background information.
Okay, go ahead and get started.
All right. Hi. This is Ben Evans from the ACE 121 Gallery. I'm sorry, I had a moment to catch up because my computer is a little bit behind.
No worries. Hi, Ben.
Hey, thanks for keeping all this work up, everybody. I wanted to use this opportunity to announce there's a kind of umbrella project, a larger scoping project that is an open call over at ACE 121, which is called This Is Not a Gallery. And it's kind of using this moment that we're in as an opportunity to propose different uses of public art space since the gallery is closed right now. So the way I've designed it is that there are 3 tracks of curation. The main track that's like very open and has a rolling submission process is basically open for workshops, lectures, panels, book clubs, any platform or idea that people have about proposing different uses of virtual public art space right now. So that's really wide open, and as I said, that's a rolling submission deadline, and the submission for that is pretty informal because it is so open. We're really open to accepting any ideas about using the ACE 121 platform to talk about art during this time. The other part is a little bit more specific, and we're using our Instagram platform to do that, which is called Verbal Description Tour. And this is something that actually has existed for blind and visually impaired people to experience visual artwork through kind of non-visual language. So it's a technique of describing an artwork. If you can imagine that you don't actually see the artwork, it's just used in very detailed description. And so we're hosting that. That's something you can do with your own phone. You can record an audio file. And then I'm just asking that you send the audio file and a still image of your artwork into me, and I do a short little edit of the video and put it up on Instagram. And then the third part of the curation is actually an online exhibition that we're hosting in light of these very impressive events that happened a couple days ago at the City Council meeting, where they recognized June as Pride Month officially, the City of Glendale, which is really exciting. We are following up our third annual art show at the gallery, and this time online, which is called Post Pride, and all that information is on our website at www.ace121gallery.com.
Beautiful. I actually had a few questions for you. So
Yeah.
this open call, is it going to be, are the artists compensated, and what is it that you're looking for? And when you say public space, are these public spaces that have been, you've received it's been confirmed that these are spaces that can be used for art?
Good question, and I'm sorry that probably wasn't super clear. The idea is to, because ACE 121, which is a public space and has been a public space to exhibit art and produce events, because it's closed, what I wanted to do was make the platform available for people to sort of, in quotes, use the space, but virtually. So there's a Zoom platform available that people can use. I have a pro account that we can host events through that. If people have ideas for things that would use Zoom, or I'm also curious about platforms or ideas that people want to use virtually that also don't use Zoom, because I feel like we're also a little bit zoomed out at this point. But the idea of public space is that I would like ACE during this time, even though the space is not visitable with our bodies, that it's still available for people to propose projects and to use our followers and our public to have an audience for that stuff. It's really wide open. And as for compensation, we do have a minimal budget for things, and as submissions come in, those are things that I would specifically just be talking to, the artists who are proposing things about what their needs are, what their specific needs are.
Okay, that sounds great. And where can they go to find this information and to apply?
Yeah, on our website at ace121gallery.com.
ace121gallery.com.
Yeah, and all the links are there on that landing page, and you can just link through to the various information and calls.
Perfect. I don't know if any of the other commissioners had any questions. You guys can go ahead and ask. If not, please, so I'll take silence as we can go ahead and move forward. Okay, thank you so much for calling in, Ben.
Thank you.
I
Take
look
care.
forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And we have one more line. Hi, you're live. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, do you mind just muting the background?
Yes, I just did.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Corey Siegel from the Museum of Neon Art, and thank you for what you're doing in these wild times. It was really wonderful to hear Ben speak about the project at ACE 121. We're really excited at Mona to start some verbal description tours inspired by his prompt. And it's really also very exciting to hear about what Glendale Arts is doing to support artists. I am calling just to share that the Museum of Neon Art has created two free resources for the Glendale community. One is called Light Walks Glowing Glendale, which is a self-guided walk that people can explore the glorious neon of Glendale and take a little stroll and learn some history about Glendale neon. And also Neon in Your Neighborhood, which is a family guide dedicated to teaching physics, art, and history to kids and families.
Okay, and can you tell me more about the guide that you're referring to?
So there is a self-guided walk called Glowing Glendale Light Walk, and that can be found on our Learn tab of the Mona website. It's neonmona.org. And then there's also Neon in Your Neighborhood, which is a family guide that has coloring book pages, word searches, principles of science that are laid out in very simple ways that families can learn together.
Okay.
And that's also on our Learn tab of our website.
That's great. So it seems like most of our organizations in Glendale have already started doing everything virtual, which is very nice for the entire city. And was there something that so the light walk is connected with the guide, correct?
So there are two guides. There's the family guide, which is called Neon in Your Neighborhood, and then there's Light Walk, which is a self-guided walk. And we've produced several walks throughout the vicinity, one of Koreatown, one of East Hollywood, and Glendale was our first guide. And those are available on our website for free download.
That's amazing. I'm very proud to know that now, and I will go ahead and take part in it as well.
Yay! So glad. Thank you again for all your hard work.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you for calling in and sharing the information with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a great day. Stay safe. Bye. Okay, that seems to be all the oral communications for today. No more calls, so we can go ahead and move forward to our next item.
Agenda item 5, action items. A, report on the Art Happens Anywhere AHA first round of applications. Motion to approve funding arts proposals for the Art Happens Anywhere AHA program and project budgets ranging from $3,000 to $15,000 from the 2019-2020 work plan. And this is Jennifer Fukutomi Jones, Arts and Culture Administrator. So I will read the background analysis. So in March 2020, the United States declared a national emergency due to the spread of the coronavirus. The unprecedented COVID-19 global pandemic has caused devastating financial constraints to the arts community, causing artists with the inability to pay for rent, purchase food, or obtain necessities. On April 16, 2020, during the regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission, the Commission approved a motion to direct staff to open the Art Happens Anywhere AHA Call for Artists, with project budgets ranging from $3,000 to $15,000 and a total amount not to exceed $100,000 from the 2019-2020 work plan. On May 1st, 2020, staff released the Art Happens Anywhere AHA Call for Artists through the Arts and Culture Commission's website, which can be found at glendaleartsandculture.org/arthappensanywhere. As of May 18th, 2020 at 12 p.m., staff received over 70 applications for consideration for the first round of review. The deadline to receive applications was 5 p.m. on that date, and we received a total of 100 applications. Wow. So first and foremost, we are beyond excited that so many people applied to this call. I remember telling staff that I'd be happy if 30 or 40 people applied, and my phone just kept pinging and pinging every time an application would come in. So we are so excited to have a great, beautiful amount of wonderful applications, which I'm going to show right now. The top 10 recommendations that staff has reviewed and would like the Commission to consider for funding. So the first proposal that we have is called Reflections, and the anticipated project budget was $4,428.87. And Reflections is a public art installation featuring audio recordings of Glendale residents secured onto aluminum discs arranged in a large mandala. This virtual sound component will weave together the voices of diverse range of LA County residents with other voices from quarantine regions from around the world, all reflecting on their experiences living through this pandemic. These digital voices will be virtually tied to physical installation of a flat, durable, reflective aluminum discs set in the ground in a mandala pattern, providing a visual marker of the activated space and a meditative environment in which to experience the sound installation. Chair Zadorian, I don't know if you wanted me to go through all the applications and then review, or if you'd like to discuss each proposal.
Maybe we can go through all of them, and then if someone has a comment or a question on specific proposals, then we can go back so we can move a little faster.
Okay. The second proposal that we have is Yoshito Meditating, and the project budget ranges from $10,000 to $15,000. Yoshito Meditating is a large mural on the wall of the ACE 121 gallery wall facing the YMCA parking lot, and this would be a permanent mural to be painted at the gallery entrance facing the YMCA parking lot. Yoshito Meditating is an acrylic spray paint to be hand painted. This proposal is of a 3-year-old son, Yoshito, meditating in a forest to highlight the isolation of social distancing, but to also give credence to positive mental awareness, meditating to reduce anxiety, still the mind, and the importance of breathing fresh air while experiencing nature. Okay. The third proposal, As One, is the project. The title of the project budget is $5,500. As One is a printed mural ranging between 14 by 48 feet and 20 by 40 feet, featuring a collage of photos of people wearing face masks. As One is a collage-style collection of 50 images showcasing close-up portraits of people. The individual photographs are focused on the eyes of the subjects, juxtaposed by their face masks as a symbol of the times. Each image was made in the subject's respective environment as a way to give people a sense of place with the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic. The collection in its entirety gives viewers a chance to empathize with those depicted as well as other viewers, since we have all been collectively experiencing the outbreak in our own way. The masks, a universal symbol for protection in pandemic, cover subjects' faces, but still allow us to see each other and show each other ourselves through our eyes. Proposal number 4 is called the Ignorant Tour Guide. The project budget ranges from $9,075. The Ignorant Tour Guide is an audio walking tour guide featuring photos and locations of Glendale. The audio guide itself takes the form of a series of questions that participants hear while walking in the city landscape, and we experiment with an open-ended procedure of suggesting inherent yet coincidental connections and or overlaps between what is being asked, pre-recorded, and what is being seen, heard, felt, or happening in real time and space. The collection would also have an accompanying visual guide that would be a collection of photographs taken on-site within Glendale. Proposal number 5 is 365 Days of Voters. The project budget is about $6,000, and 365 Voters is a series of drawings of Glendale residents and why they vote. The drawings will be featured on postcards and posters leading up to the election. This is a social media project that inspires participation in democracy by sharing the stories and faces of voters from Glendale's and LA County's diverse communities. The project, a visual diary featuring hand-drawn portraits of voters alongside their individual reasons for voting, takes place primarily online. There would be a total of 365 drawings and stories. The artist would propose also printing them on postcards and posters as a promotional opportunity to engage voter activity leading up to the November 3rd election. Proposal number 6, I Am a Small Business Glendale. The project budget is about $5,000. I Am a Small Business Glendale is a series of photographs featuring 5 to 10 small business owners in Glendale with audio recordings / interviews of the owners. This is an immersive virtual experience that can be viewed from any connected device. And it is a proposal of specifically small businesses of portraits in Glendale and would celebrate the city's diversity, vibrancy, and entrepreneurial spirit. Proposal number 7, Our Mikoshi. The project budget ranges from about $15,000. Our Mikoshi is a community-driven, site-specific sculpture with online workshops and performances in Little Tokyo and Glendale. Our Mikoshi is a community-driven series of events and performances in collaboration with the Little Tokyo and the Glendale area. Mikoshi is an actual Japanese portable shrine of the Shinto tradition, which talks about the good and the cleansing of the community, and Matsuri is associated with a seasonal festivity that it brings the community together and through the village. Our Mikoshi will imagine and create a site-specific Mikoshi and Matsuri dance, chant, and hapiko for the broader Nikkei and Japanese American community in Greater Los Angeles, as well as our diverse communities across the region of all ages and backgrounds. There is a potential partnership for community engagement with the Glendale Unified Youth School District's flag Japanese dual immersion program and the Friends of the Shoshin, which is the Japanese Tea House Garden, for the virtual workshops and accessible offline activities. Participants will also receive a free art kit with molding clay, linocuts, and other safe materials to be guided through a virtual workshop to create their version of Mikoshi and the traditional elements at home. And the proposer is also planning to bring, well, as I mentioned, the performances within Little Tokyo and Glendale. Proposal number 8, With Love from LA. The project budget ranges about $15,000. With Love from LA is a 6-month series of monthly live stream shows and community conversations with professional LA County music makers. This is an online virtual offering conceived by performers and event producers, showcasing different LA County artists each month, performing family-friendly live stream concerts in solo or duo format, depending on social distancing regulations, and in conversation online with creative peer discussing what LA means to them, their approach to their art, and the new normal, personal approaches to wellness and their art and day-to-day lifestyle, the importance of function of community to them and the landscape and the ecosystem of live music lies decimated with no indication of how or when it may return. Each month will feature 2 live streams, an in-conversation broadcast and music performance live stream concert for the audiences of LA and around the world. Such artists that they were proposing as part of this conversation are Josh Johnson, Jeff Parker, Carlos Nino, and Miguel Atwood Ferguson, which are jazz musicians in Los Angeles. The next proposal is Armenian traditional dance and music, and the project budget ranges from about $15,000. This proposal is an outdoor concert series of Armenian traditional dance and music for those who are currently isolated in Glendale. They are proposing to perform at 3 Glendale locations. One would be a senior living facility, a hospital, and a low-income housing building. They specifically want to engage with those who are the most vulnerable and at higher risk during this time, and also engage with caretakers, hospital patients, and people who have been essential workers to show their appreciation for what they've been doing. As part of this, they would also be highlighting the context of specifically Armenian culture through lyrics, melodies, and dance movements as part of the concerts. And the last proposal that we have for consideration is called Color and Dance. The project budget ranges from about $15,000, and Color and Dance is a 4-part online series focused on hip-hop street dance and serves as a response to the heightened injustices people of color endure. The series will consist of 3 pre-recorded 5-minute video installations, followed by a live stream video, 30-minute class video for a 45-minute total duration. The series will take place every other Saturday over a 2-month period to a total of 4 showings. After presenting the 3 5-minute works, the audience interaction is engaged into 2 parts, a short Q&A, which will feature one of the artists, an online activity, and would also feature ways in which to engage with audiences through street dance. So those are the 5 proposals for recommendation. 10, sorry.
So I just want to know what you think would be the best idea. Should we go through each one now with questions, but try to make them as minimal as possible? Either questions about more details or maybe a recommendation as to the budget or whatnot. Maybe is that how we should do it?
Yeah, or however you feel. We could also do a round of the commissioners to say which ones were
Their
rose to the
favorites.
top,
Okay.
and then which ones they had questions about. Or
I agree with that one. I'm just hoping that everybody actually kind of wrote down the numbers and their notes on those numbers. So let's hope that that is how it was done. And if so, let's go ahead and get started.
Chair Zadorian?
Yes.
Sorry, if I could make a suggestion. I think before I can say I like this or I don't like that or I think this is worthy, I need to know more information
Okay.
on some of these. And so I would suggest we go through each one. If commissioners have questions or comments,
Okay. And then
we-
give
we
our
do that, and
recommendations
then-
and our favorites at the end.
and then we come back and decide or give our opinions or ideas of what could work or what could not. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great idea from Commissioner Oshagan. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll start from proposal number 1, and the commissioners and vice chair can ask questions. Obviously, let's not repeat the same questions or kind of ask very lengthy ones. Kind of let's just get more information so we can make more firm decisions. So
Chair Zadorian, do you want to go in the order? that we
yeah,
have?
let's go in the order from the first one until the 10th one.
Okay, so, no, I mean, through the commissioner, so Vice Chair Tufenkian would be first.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Oshagan, Commissioner Vyar, Commissioner Vidor, and then Chair Zadorian. would go
Yes.
last. So, Vice Chair Tufenkian, proposal 1.
Now, were we going to look at these one more time, or
Yeah, so she's gonna put it on the screen right now, and then kind of just ask your questions or anything specific that you had
Yeah.
about that one.
Okay.
So we're on proposal number 1, reflections. I don't know if it's lagging on yours or if you can see it yet.
Yes, there
Okay.
is a lag.
Just
All
wait
right.
up one moment. We can actually move the camera to the.
The commissioners should all have a PDF as well. of
Okay,
the
that's right.
presentation if they want to.
Oh,
Yes, if you guys
Okay.
want to open up the PDFs in the email that came about
12:15.
12:15 right before the meeting
Yeah.
started.
okay.
Okay.
I'm going to the PDF. Give me a minute.
No problem.
Excuse me, this is Arlene. Could you please indicate where in the PDF we would find these?
Yes, it's the third attached document in the reminder email that came at 12:15 from Jennifer Fukutomi Jones. There was a packet with the agenda, the library arts and culture events. And
Okay.
the third one is the PDF.
Thank you, Arlene. That clarifies. I was looking in the wrong place. Okay. I think reflections looked interesting. I'm not exactly sure. Can you explain that one more time? How that works? There's these metal discs. It looks like, and then.
Sure, I will try to be as concise as possible. A lot of these proposals are very long in length, so which is why I didn't want to read the whole full-length proposal. But from my understanding, there would be aluminum discs that would be placed in a mandala form, and on the aluminum discs, either I believe on the bottom would be an audio recording of Glendale residents talking about their experiences through COVID-19. And as participants or people who are engaging with the art would walk around, it would be a sense of hearing different stories as you're walking around the mandala. So there's an overlapping of stories. There's I believe also an audio recording that the artist proposed he would create to kind of overlap over all of the audio recordings. But that is kind of the general gist of it. Does that help?
And the recordings would be of experiences of living through COVID or during this time, or what would it be?
Specifically living through COVID, but also additional sounds he's saying here. The proposer is saying here sounds that you identify with your routine, whether it's cooking sounds or sounds of the outdoors or water boiling or things that also to create a sense of atmosphere of what's happening currently.
Okay. Did you have any other questions?
Well, I like that. I like that it's interactive. I like that visually from above it looks very interesting. And assuming that once you walk through it, it would also be quite engaging. So I would say this is an interesting one. But not having gone through all 10 of them right now, it's kind of hard to decide if this is one that we would, how to react to it compared to all the others.
Yeah. If you want, ask the questions, and we'll see if any other commissioners have different questions, and then we'll go through and say which ones our favorites are, which ones we
Okay.
prefer to fund now. We can always choose to fund some later down the line, or we can maybe recommend a different budget if it's too high in our opinion, and make recommendations as to changes we want to see. So for now, let's just ask questions, and then we'll go through kind of like in a ranking of the different proposals. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm done with my questions.
Okay, so then who is next? Commissioner Oshagan?
Oshagan, yes.
Okay, I'll write it down so I can say it then. So Commissioner Oshagan, do you have any questions?
Yes, actually, I have a number of questions. First of all, I want to thank Jennifer for putting all this together and making a lot of work to make it clear and concise and presenting it to us such that we can have and actually, we can really consider these things. So thank you, Jennifer. So this is interesting. I like it. I like the interactive sound with it, but the technology, I want to find out a little bit more about the technology because it looks great when you render it like this, but you need to have power, you need to have speakers. Are these really kind of like speaker kind of discs that will project the sound? Because if the sound isn't projected upward, then you can't really hear it. And also it's very important, who the artist is. We ran into this in the past where an artist will propose an idea, but they don't have the background to kind of pull off the kind of technology or the kind of idea that they're proposing. So I'd like to get an idea of not so much who the artist is, but Jennifer, do you feel that this artist has the capability to pull such a thing off?
I do, and to comment on your question, I'm going to read a part of the application that specifically refers to the sound installation. So this is straight from the application. Using Sonic Maps, a web-based app designed for hands-free sound installations and audio walking tours, the artist will localize clips from each selected interviewee's voice and associated material sounds with geographic space. Using Sonic Maps to install this audio will ensure that anyone with smartphone can experience this installation without touching any equipment they do not already own or downloading any software. A Wi-Fi hotspot would be near the location of where this would be. Sonic Maps uses GPS data from cell phones to create a spatialized sound experience.
Okay, actually, so you're listening to it, sorry to interrupt you, you're listening to it on your phone. This is not really projecting any sound. You're walking around and the GPS recognizes the particular disc and it triggers the audio experience. Is that right?
That's my understanding of it as well, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry that I cut you off. If you want to continue, that's fine.
Sure. It just says each voice will be assigned a particular audio track. Within the larger installation, the zones will be mapped at a large size to allow multiple participants to stand within them while maintaining 6 feet of distance. When a participant stands within a mapped zone, they will hear the voice associated with the sounds of the one interviewee. So basically, the proposer is creating this within zones, and as you're walking through, you're hearing overlapping and going into different zones of interviewees and sounds.
Ara, did you have any other questions?
And so the background of the artist, Jennifer, so you think this artist has got the kind of background to pull this off?
I do, yes. I believe this artist can pull this off.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Commissioner Vyar, did you have any questions about proposal number 1?
Just wondering about the space for the installation. It takes up a lot of space. Was that designated in the proposal?
Sure. So the proposal that is included here, the artist was proposing Central Park off of, is that Brand Boulevard in Colorado? I'm sorry. The actual space has not been confirmed yet. That would be something, if this proposal is moved forward, we would have to work with city departments in regards to permitting. The biggest concern I had with this specific installation was how would it be maintained, specifically security-wise? Would it be vandalized? Is there a better location for it? For example, would it be better in the City Hall courtyard here because there's lots of security and city folks and staff that are nearby? But the proposed location, to get back to your question, was the Central Park location.
Okay. Your questions were better than mine anyway, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, I have a couple questions, so I'll just say them all and then you can address them. First, I think it's very nice conceptually. How would people maintain if they were to come around with their phones? Is there some guidelines to make yourself aware of social distancing requirements? So there would have to be something worked in there. Then I have the question about infrastructure, public works. What do we need to support this, either virtually or electronically or otherwise? And then the question, it's using phones. Is it not only secure from vandalism physically, but is it virtually secure? So those are my three questions.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're up.
No, did you want to answer the questions?
Oh,
No, those were my questions, so I would like to get answers to those.
those are fantastic questions. I don't have answers specifically to them, but I can definitely follow up with the artist and hear their responses to those questions.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you, Jennifer. You're doing a great job, both of you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Honestly, all the questions that I had were already asked, so I think that is more than enough from me. Definitely, if it's going to be at Central Park, I do agree. I don't agree with having it at the City Hall compound property just because it's not as visible to somebody who's walking by. I think Central Park has many more visitors. And people who locally live within downtown or even South Glendale who might be walking in the area, which is happening a lot more now, which it might be one of the benefits of everything happening, which makes this a very nice installation for those who will be passing by and will walk through the park. Obviously, as Arlene stated, it would need some sort of social distancing guideline and something that is also there along with the discs to explain how when you walk by your phone will be connected, the name of the actual installation, the artist's name, something with a description and how it works. So when you walk up, you understand that, okay, I'm supposed to walk through, I'm going to hear different noises, it's going to come from my phone. So they would need to also provide something along with the installation with more information for people who are passing by to understand. That's my only recommendation. With that, I think we could go ahead and move forward to proposal number 2, which is.
Silvana, I'm sorry,
yes.
if I could ask one more quick question. What is the proposed time length of this installation? Because Central Park is used by a lot of people, and is this like one day thing or is it multi-day week?
Yeah, good question. From Commissioner Oshagan, do we have an answer for that?
The artist is proposing an initial 3-month run of the installation starting July 15th. And again, I don't know if the Central Park is available, nor I don't know if we are able to utilize the park at that time. So that's a great question in regards to when the installation would take place.
Chair Zadorian?
Yes.
Gary Schaefer, Director, Library Arts and Culture. Great proposal, great questions from the commissioners. We will, all of them, we would work with if commission wanted to put this one forward. Not only would Jennifer work with the artist on some of the technical things and great suggestions from the commission, but we would also work with city departments to just kind of help identify that ideal place for the installation to happen based, as folks have said, on, propensity for vandalism in a particular place and or schedules of spaces so that it would work, and as well as, is 3 months the right time? Would 4 months be better? Would 2 months be better? So we can work on all of that and keep the commission in the loop.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 2, Yoshito Meditating, with a proposed budget of $10,000 to $15,000. We'll go ahead and get started with Commissioner Tufenkian. Did you have any questions about this proposal?
I guess, is it going to be, it's going to be a mural directly painted on the surface of the building, or is it going to be applied on something, or?
That was my understanding, that it would be painted directly onto the gallery wall, which was facing the YMCA parking lot.
Okay, and permissions and everything is in place, or?
This was a proposed location, again, like the previous proposal. There has not been any authorization to put the mural up here. It was just mainly a proposal for that space. This particular applicant is a resident of ACE 121. So that was also the tie into why that location was chosen.
Okay. I mean, I love it. I hope that goes through. So, yeah.
Same. Okay, are you done with your questions for now?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, I also like the idea. Hopefully the permissions will come through, but could you give us just a quick idea of who the artist is, and are they muralists? What's their background in doing this kind of thing?
That can I circle back to you? I have the artist statement here, but I can pull up the resume while we're talking to kind of give you an idea.
Okay.
But I believe that the artist has a mural background. But if we can circle back, I'll pull up the resume while we're.
Did you have any other questions, or we can move forward with questions, and then once she has the answer, she can answer for everybody?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Vyar?
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Vidor?
Yes, I'm of course thrilled that mural proposals came in since we don't really have a regulatory structure for muraling. I think it's great. It's a little hard for me, commenting specifically on the mural itself. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. First, I thought there was a little bit of a trompe-l'oeil going on. I think the thing on the right, that gray window array, is actually windows in the building.
Yeah.
Do I have that correct?
Yes.
And then on the left, there are also elements of the building that have kind of inserted themselves into the composition of the mural. So it's sort of a combination of the architecture and the tree background.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what I'm looking at below. There's the figure of the meditative person. It looks like there is something growing out of his head, which I'm not sure if that's a tree trunk. And I can't tell when I'm looking at, is the person sitting in a lotus position, or am I looking at something that's actually in the parking lot? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
They've done a wonderful job of, virtually putting the mural idea onto the building, but it's a little hard to tell what the composition of the mural is. And so, if there's any way to see a little clearer picture of it, that would be great.
I mean, I'm looking at it on my phone as I'm speaking to you guys, and I can zoom in, and it seems like everything you guessed was correct. So there's the windows and the structure of the building, so the art would go around it. There's the child who's meditating in a lotus position, and there's just trees in the background because he's sitting within a forest, and so it's just trees behind him, not really growing out of his head. So it's really a child in a background of forest, and I like the idea of how he's isolating, really, and sort of like talking about mental health and taking care of yourself during this time. So I don't know if I answered it for you.
And this is intended to be a permanent mural, is what you mentioned.
That was the intention, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Did we find the answer, by the way, to the resume?
Sure, I
Okay.
can just kind of briefly touch on the artist experience, Commissioner Oshagan. This artist has worked with aerosol art, mural art, graphic design in various different forms. Works with the Summer Nights Lights program with the City of Los Angeles, with the hip hop style workshop, spray paint with color formation. So they have a pretty thorough resume. So I would feel comfortable in their expertise and experience.
Does it answer your question, Commissioner Oshagan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, you guys asked all the questions that I wanted to ask. I love this one as well, so I have no other questions, and we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 3.
I have one question, or one thing that I wanted to mention in regards to this
Yes.
proposal. The project budget was a little confusing. I'm not sure if the artist misunderstood the calculations, but that's why there is a delineation between $10,000 and $15,000, because the total value of the whole mural was $5,000, but didn't that doesn't necessarily mean that's the project budget. That's the valuation of what the project would be. So we would need to get clarity from the artist on if it's a $15,000 project or a $10,000 project.
Okay. Thank you for the
And
clarification.
Jennifer, this is Gary Schaefer. Did the artist, you had said that they are proposing this, that they didn't necessarily get permission from the YMCA, which the building is housed within. That's not included in the proposal?
Yes, that's correct. So this is just a proposal like the one before for a location, but not necessarily, they didn't provide an authorization from ACE 121 or the YMCA to have the mural there. So that would be something we need
Yeah,
to
I
follow
think
up
the
with.
building's owned by the YMCA, but I could be wrong on that. Thank you.
I had thought that the building was owned by the city, but I might be incorrect. So I guess we'll have to find out that.
It might be a joint ownership. We'll have to check on that.
Okay, then we'll have to find out. We can go ahead and move forward.
Vice Chair Tufunkian?
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I thought you were going to introduce it.
Oh, sorry.
No. You already did that. We can go ahead and get started with Commissioner Tufenkian. Did you have any questions on proposal number 3 as one?
Yes. Okay, so it looks like these are going to be photographs that are going to be printed and placed where? Around town? How many different locations? Where would they be?
There was not a specific location, so this is definitely a great question to follow up with the artist. In my understanding was that it would be just one installation ranging between 14 to 48 feet and or 20 to 40 feet. So that is a great question. The installation is proposed to take place sometime between June 2020 and June 2021. But the location, yes, would need to be clarified by the artist and or approved by whoever owns the property.
And it would be a compilation of many portraits, right?
Correct. I believe the artist said, yes, 50 images of close-up portraits.
Damn it. And, okay. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, so the fact that there's no end point to this project is a little bit, we have to consider that. I mean, and there's a number of the projects here, it seems to me, are to produce work, but there doesn't seem to be a very clear end goal as to how it's going to be displayed. So I think we have to kind of consider that when we're accepting or talking about these projects. I'm going to, again, ask Jennifer something about, if you could tell us something about the artist as well, you know, your idea if the budget that's proposed is commensurate with kind of the work is done, even though clearly this project, I mean, if you're going to make a 20 by 40 foot print, it's going to be, you know, half the budget or more is going to be that print. So it's kind of not clear exactly what's going to happen here. But if you could talk about the artist just very briefly.
The artists, it's a dual project, but the artists have background primarily in photography, producing different exhibits in photojournalism on location, working with the different city entities of Los Angeles and Santa Ana. So I believe they have the background to produce the images, but your questions are definitely valid, Commissioner Oshagan, in regards to the cost and the proposal right now. The budget is very minimal in the sense of it says the mural print is an estimate of $5,000 and the installation labor is $5,500. And it says that they're still gathering quotes, but I agree with you that we would need further clarification on the budget.
As well as the end point, I think it's very important to have an end point as what's going to happen. Where is it going to be displayed for the public? Right? That's very important.
Okay. Thank you. Did you have any other questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Villar?
Thanks.
Thank you.
No question.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
I'm not sure if my questions were, I think they've already been asked, but I guess my concern is a combination. Nice idea, but when would this go up? I think it would make sense to have it be timely, you know, with the immediate effects of the pandemic or its after effects. I also want to know what the medium is. Is this is an ephemeral kind of disappearing thing? I understand it's not permanent. And is it wheat paste, or I'd like to know a little bit about the process of putting it up, because it should ideally fade over time. And then, I'm glad to hear that there are multiple images, a lot of images included, and that it's one impactful piece, as opposed to, a few masked people here or there or spread out throughout the city. So my questions relate to how it's the materials and when it would go up.
Commissioner Vidor, I will just read a section from the proposal. I might have said it before, I don't remember, but it says materials used would be premium photographic print paper, ink, and adhesive. Maintenance requirements would be vandalism prevention if installed outside. The technical requirement is someone who's capable of inserting large prints on the wall. The proposed start date of this installation is June 2020, running through June 2021. And to allude to Commissioner Oshagan as well, we need to have clarification on when the installation would be, how long it would be up, and yes, so agree with your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Zadorian?
Yes.
I mean, this is Gary Schaefer again. My question, I guess, is it sounds like the artist is saying it would be up for possibly 1 year. It doesn't sound like they've delineated he or she has not delineated a location, but I might, if I could, put a question to Commissioner Oshagan, as he's the one that has the most experience with this. Would they last a year, being outside, exposed to the elements? Like how would they look? Would the artist be best served to print multiples that could replace or paste over the top of them, given that you have some experience with a similar type project?
I first, thank you, Gary. I think those are really good points. I first assumed it would be like a big vinyl print, which would be, because if it's 20 feet by 40 feet, it has to be kind of a big vinyl print to be hung anywhere. But then what Jennifer read was that it's photographic paper, and I don't know how that would possibly work. Photographic paper doesn't come that large. It would have to be pieces. It would have to be somehow stitched together somehow. And where would it hang, a 20 by 40 foot thing? I mean, these are, I think it's a good, interesting project, very timely, I think, as Arlene mentioned, but kind of not thought out as to how the end point is going to be, where it's going to be displayed, and where could anything be possibly displayed for a whole year, which is what the proposed length of the exhibition is another big question.
Right, but perhaps that's negotiable.
Yeah,
and
so
we
things,
could make suggestions. Thank you.
Right, so those things have to be clarified clearly.
Okay.
Or, like Gary, you mentioned, it could be multiple smaller ones, and they could change if we have a particular place that then it's constantly, every month, new images are replaced. The old ones are taken down, new ones are replaced, or something like that.
So actually, my question would be exactly that. So I envisioned it as when you're driving around like the arts district and you see these movie posters and these artists, as in like musical artists posters on walls and construction sites and whatnot. I know that those are more probably environmentally unsafe, but something along those lines where they're individual photos, they're lined up, and they don't always have to be 20 feet by 40 feet. They can be more at the eye level along the streets, under the freeway underpasses, because right now there's nothing being displayed there. So people can see them at red lights when they're driving through. And yes, the timing, I think June 20 would be great for 2020. I don't know about until 2021, but we can always kind of let them know that we only want it for several months, or as Ara just stated, have it up and then in a different location again. My only thing is we need to know the locations where they want them. We have to talk to city departments to figure that out. Where is okay, where can they do it, and see if the artist would be on board. And of course, just give them the date. So what were we thinking? Maybe a 3 to 4 month span, maybe 6 months, because this is about kind of the coronavirus and the COVID pandemic. But I mean, wearing a mask seems to not it seems to be part of our culture now, and that's something that we're going to be doing for a while. So it's not something that we can do for a whole year and it's going to be kind of like out of style or something. It's still going to be something relevant a year from now. So I don't know, I guess it will be damaged within a year, but I think if we give a shorter span of about 4 to 6 months, that might be the best option. So I don't know if anybody else wanted to say anything about that. Mine is just placing and the dates. Of course, materials, he's probably going to have to change eventually because, as we all stated, a photographic material is probably not going to be the best for the putting out to display outside. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but those are my only things. Placing, timing, and the material.
I think those are all fantastic questions for all the proposals, and I think what would be best would be for staff to circle back with the artists, because if the materials change or if the amount of time changes, that would obviously change their project proposal as well, potentially.
Yes.
So we might, think that it's a $5,500 budget, but it may increase or decrease depending on that. So I think that's a great suggestion to have staff follow up.
Okay. Then for right now, we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 4.
The ignorant tour guide.
Commissioner Tufenkian?
Yes. So in this picture, there's a picture of like a pamphlet or a catalog with images. Is that something that's going to be part of the proposal, the program? How is that going to work out?
I'm going to read a section of the proposal here that says the idea is to reuse a rather familiar device, that of a city guide downloadable as an audio file to one's phone, as a tool that prompts activity and thus generates experiences. So I believe it's going to be downloadable. We can circle back with a proposal to see if it's going to be a hard copy like that it is the image, but from my understanding, it would be online.
And how many locations are they thinking of? And what are the locations? Is there any?
I believe the locations were specifically within Glendale, but I can also follow up in regards to the number of locations, because I don't believe that's included in here.
And so it's going to be a walking tour. So it's got to be, everything's got to be pretty close to each other. Okay. Okay. Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Oshagan?
The proposed budget is going towards essentially a website and downloadable material. Is that what the budget is going for? And the research?
I believe so, and it also says here that the proposal could also constitute as a permanent work of art commissioned by the commission. So it would be something that would live on the ACC website or have longevity within the archive. It could potentially tie into, and I don't want to put words in the proposer's mouth, tie into the public art archive somehow, potentially be updated as we develop the public art archive. But I think the intention was to be a long-term to permanent audio, guide or online guide.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, because once it's there, it can just stay there and it can be added to it. I would only make one suggestion, is that the title could be perhaps reconsidered by the artist, something a little more engaging than Ignorant Tour Guide.
Good idea.
That's all I have. Thank
you. Commissioner Vire?
No question. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I had the same, some of the comments and questions that Commissioners Tufenkian and Oshagan asked came to my mind. But I also thought, is a walking tour guide art? What puts this into the realm of art? Is it the word? It's called the Ignorant Tour Guide, which is a kind of provocative name that I'm not sure why it's called that, and that might make it seem artistic. But I guess I'd like to know more about what audio insights the tour guide is going to be giving us. And it's always somewhat artistic to walk around your environment and observe it. But I guess I would want to know a little bit more about the viewpoint and the selections of the locations and why. And I'd be interested to hear what my fellow commissioners think. Is a tour guide, which is a wonderful idea, is that, what makes this art versus, a walking guide, which might be in another category. So that was my question.
Commissioner Vitor, I think those are fantastic questions. This is also a very thorough proposal, so I can read some of the parts of it which would kind of allude to your questions, I think. So let me read just certain sections. I think it's more of in regards to the art aspect, I believe it's more of a meditative process as you're going through and you're walking and looking at things differently. So this is directly from the proposal. It says, urbanity and the city is beautiful and repulsive and homely and uncanny and easy and difficult and hard and soft and visible and invisible and colorful and saturated and exciting and boring and lively and dead and full and empty and messy and clean. And by using and as the articulation of the proposed experience, we are interested in connecting instead of composing. The experience of this continual barrage of questions becomes one of selection, concentration, and interruption. It unfolds as a process by which the participants find their own meaningful yet instant constellations of what they hear and see. In our current world of unknowing, the guide seeks to expand the experience of discovering what was once familiar, a familiar world anew. We imagine it to be a tool to unlearn what we knew before, and by way of asking rather than telling, these discoveries are actively invited to take place. If that gives more context.
Yeah, okay. Well, having heard that statement, I feel much better about this because, a very literal walking tour guide can be maybe informative, but this person obviously is planning to take kind of a deep dive into how the participant observes their environment and the different range of emotions one might feel as they walk the city. So it sounds like, kind of an artistic, multidimensional viewpoint, which makes me feel a lot more like this is, in that realm. So that answered my question. Thank you.
Of course, and to Commissioner Oshigan's great questions always of background, which I really appreciate, is this specific proposal has been done in different cities. So one was in Germany, and one was also in France, and I believe in Cyprus. So it has happened in different cities in regards to the artist experience.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I do not have any questions. Everything was asked for me as well. So we can go ahead and move forward to proposal.
Director Schaefer, do you have any questions or comments?
No, none at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Next proposal, 365 Days of Voters.
Commissioner Tufenkian?
Yes, hi. This one, can you explain how he's going to do this? So he's going to start, is he going to set up a place and do the drawings, or how is this going to work out?
So the background of this proposal, again, this is another very thorough proposal. It's very long, so I'll just read some aspects of it to give you a background. So this particular proposal applicant has worked as a creative strategist and artist in residence with the LA County Registrar Recorder and the County Clerk's Office, specifically with the LA County Department of Arts and Culture. And during this kind of first phase of the project, the artist worked with 8-inch by 8-inch pen and ink drawings of people who were sharing their stories as part of the Registrar Recorder. There were in a whole range of different communities, diverse languages, LGBTQI voters that were part of the process. I think at the time the artist was meeting these people, but as it's now transitioned to social distancing, I believe the artist is doing a call for selfies. So for people to send in pictures of themselves and to kind of write what voting means to them or why they vote.
Mm-hmm. So how many of these portraits does he already have from actual sittings, and how many are going to be selfies?
That is a great question. It's not included right now as far as the total that they have, total number of photos right now. Within the proposal, it says I will post a minimum of 365 drawings and stories, hopefully more. But that's a great question. I can follow up. And I know specifically it says they would want to utilize Glendale residents and voters. So I can follow up with that.
Okay, and it says the drawings will be featured on postcards and posters leading up to the election. Where would these postcards and posters be?
Artists had talked about using selected images. I think, again, it was part of a greater proposal in regards to large-scale banners, posters installed on city-owned venues and made possible to available to promote participation. I think the postcards were also part of a kind of drawing as a way of drawing in the sense of, you pull your name from a list of people drawing, and you would get your print or your postcard sent to you. But yeah, the locations are not exact as well, so that's something I can follow up with the artist.
Mm-hmm. And well, being drawings, they would have to be somewhere interior.
Yes, I would assume so. Right now, I believe the artist has an Instagram that's housing the current photographs, the drawings that they have taken. But I can definitely, it says they would also create a project website that would serve as a permanent archive of the project, as well as a site for video and additional project content. So there would be the online Instagram, but also the website as well, which we could also pitch and say, could it be housed on the ACC website or however connected to the ACC website? But those are great questions that I can follow up with.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Oshagan?
Yes, a couple of quick questions. So are these actually artist drawings that he or she has made up to this point?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so there's a textual part, I'm assuming, because it's about why they vote. Do we have any idea of how the textual part is going to be included in the drawings?
I believe when I looked at the artist's background or at the Instagram, there was the actual photo, and then within the description, it was the person's name, and then a kind of quote of like, I vote because of my family, I vote because I believe in democracy, I vote for whatever reason. But I think that would also be included on the website. So that's a question that I can follow up with the artist, is the capturing of the information from the interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so more like a caption to the drawing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing, so the budget, $6,000, does this include all the production of the postcards and the posters? And plus, is there a plan of where these posters are going to go and what's going to be done with these postcards?
So there were two aspects of the budget. So the first budget would be $5,000, and that would be the artist's salary, the creation of the website, and postcards and sticker layouts and material costs and these kind of giveaways for drawings, and that would be $5,000. The additional of 30 posters at 70 inches by 48 inches and 10 banners by 5 feet by 3 feet would add an additional $1,000 for a total of $6,000, which is why I included the overall project budget. But that is the budget breakdown that the artist included.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Vire?
Thanks. Yeah, my question was exactly the last one that Commissioner Oshagan asked, but I missed how you said 10 banners, Jennifer, and what was what else was included in that extra $1,000?
Would be 30 posters at 70 inches by 48 inches. So basically, they're referring to kind of a bus kiosk size. And the 10 banners at 5 feet by 3 feet for the additional $1,000. They did not include the actual locations of where these posters would be, so that's a question that I can follow up with the artist. But they did mention city locations and working with the city clerk's office here in Glendale.
And the postcards were not included in the cost of the initial rendering or the additional $1,000, right? The postcards would be something else.
The postcards were included in the initial $5,000. So to give a description, it says postcards, 4 designs, $2,000 each, $8,000 total. So that would be inclusive.
Oh, I missed that. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, okay. This is an interesting, nice proposal. How would the postcards, you said something like 8,000 postcards. So how are these postcards to be disseminated and spread around? That's my first question. And then kind of summarizing what the other commissioners were asking about, it would be interesting to see a little more detail on and continuity around how postcards, banners, posters, we've got different formats going. I assume the banners are going to be going up like banners go up all over Glendale now on the light posts. Is that the idea there? And then is there consistency between them? So the visual features of the person and the text will appear on everything, including all the formats of printed material as well as the virtual. So there's consistency, or is the idea of the virtual that there would be audio?
Those are great questions. I don't think there was an audio aspect included in here, but I can follow up with the artist.
And I'm not suggesting there has to be. I was just curious about that.
Did you have any other questions?
And then how are the postcards are going to get out to, are people going to get them in the mail or,
Yeah, there was no description of how the postcards would be disseminated. I don't know within this this budget line of the postcards. I don't think that included mailing. So
yeah, I'm not loving the postcard idea. I think given you've got large scale banners and posters being made as well as a virtual things, it seems like the postcard idea is a little bit maybe environmentally an overstep, to generate that much paper, and when it's going to be seen by people in other ways.
Great. Thank you. So I agree with all my fellow commissioners. I did wonder, it was a great proposal. I think it's a great idea to incorporate the political and voting and the necessity to vote with arts. My only thing is that this is already being done by the city clerk's office. And if they're going to be working with the city clerk office, then it should be something that's kind of under the umbrella of the city clerk. I know that they create and market for voting. This past election cycle, they had the Keep Calm and Vote kind of posters and postcards. So I get the idea of that, but that was much more incorporated into actual elections and the marketing of getting constituents to vote. If this is supposed to be more of like an art installation, I don't agree with passing out postcards and having posters on the interior of city buildings, because that's already going to be done by the city clerk's office. Unless this is going to be the main marketing tool, then that's something that the city clerk can take on. But if it's going to be something with the AHA program, I think it needs to be much more art-centric, which means it's displayed for people during isolation. It's displayed in a way for people to be able to actually view it on their walks, from their homes, virtually, whatever it might be. I don't think that this is going to be particularly interesting during these times. I know it's for leading up to November, but then we're going to have to find new ways to be displaying these, because so far I don't know about the postcards and posters. That might not be the best option for this. So I don't know if my fellow commissioners would agree that this would be something that the city clerk should take on rather than the Arts and Culture Commission. And if we were to take it on, it should be displayed in a much different way. The proposal should include to have these displayed in a larger public space, in a way for the public to actually appreciate and see these, because we can't be mailing things to people's homes. That's really a marketing tool and kind of propaganda to vote, really, in a positive way, of course. So I don't particularly agree with this proposal. So that is my opinion. I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that.
Director Schaefer, did you have any comments or questions?
Not really. It could have, had there been a letter of support from the city clerk's office, that could have, bolstered that or something. So
yeah. We can always I assume the city clerk's office hasn't seen this, and if they haven't, we can always share it with them and see what they propose, what they think can be done. And if not, we can go back to the artists and kind of tell them what we recommend and what we would like to see instead. So we can go ahead and do that. Let's share with the city clerk's office, and then we can see what they would like to see. If not, we can recommend to the artist to change it to make it more art-centric for the entire city and for the public to actually view it.
The artist is saying that they do have connected with the city clerk's office, but I don't think necessarily regarding this proposal.
Okay.
Just that they know staff.
Yeah, they know staff. They've probably worked with them in the past on other marketing things for elections. Okay. Okay. We can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 6.
Shalana, if I could
Yes,
just
Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, so I appreciate your comments, and I think we don't want to conflict with what other cities are doing. And I think there's this consistent issue with these proposals that the end goal, the final display, is a little bit not thought through very well.
Yeah.
And I think it should be a priority by the staff if we're going to go back to these artists and really figure out what exactly they're going to be, how they're going to be actually finally displayed or brought out into the public. Almost all of them, except for the ones that are going online, have this seems to be this issue that we have to address.
How it's going to be, yeah. So that's actually a question that I had for Mike and maybe Gary is, if it's possible to have these it would be so much simpler if these artists were in here so we could ask them these questions instead of having Jennifer kind of be the middleman going back and forth, getting this information, finding the proposals. Because in the past when we've had these kinds of things like with Scott Froschauer, he's been here to answer our questions, and it's made it much simpler because when we haven't understood what his vision is or we've been a little confused as to the way to kind of have it done, he's explained it to us and we've understood it because it's coming from him and directly, and we were able to immediately vote and understand. Right now there's going to be a lot of back and forth, which I'm a little worried about because by the time we get this information, it's going to be next month, and then we'll be voting on those ones. So it's going to be a little delayed. So I'm wondering, is it possible? I know that we have to abide by this social distancing, but I mean, it's me and Jennifer in a room, and if one artist comes in during their proposal to speak, while the others maybe wait outside, if they actually want to come in and have questions answered, they can come in, answer a few questions, and then they can leave. So there's only one person in the room with us. Do you know if that's possible right now with the city ordinance or the emergency quarantine?
They could call in, right? That's not an option. They could just call. Yeah.
I guess they could call in. I don't want to get more confused, but I guess that would work. Yeah, we can always call them in. Maybe next time we can have it so they're on the lines during these.
Yeah.
But are they allowed to speak during an action item?
Certainly they can make comment, and you're considering a proposal, so that could be possible. Part of it was timing. We literally just got these proposals in. Jennifer did a woman's job of going through all of them and preparing this for you. Yeah. But I think what we could do, if there's ones that the commissioner's leaning towards, allow staff to, make reasonable accommodation. You can say, we like this one. We'd like to move forward with it. These are our concerns. We can work through those concerns with the artist, and we could basically get them going before having another meeting. We could check in with the chair. Maybe not at this meeting. I leave it to our city attorney's representative, Michael Grant, as to whether we can form a subcommittee. But I think we can. I think working with Jennifer, working with staff, we can get some of these going as long as we have some direction from commission.
Okay, I do agree that having a subcommittee would be a better decision, so they can kind of get all of the proposals sent to them, and then whatever questions they have, they can send to Jennifer to have those answered even before our meeting. So that at least 2 commissioners have already taken a look at these, and because I trust my fellow commissioners, and if they have certain questions, I know it's definitely going to cover whatever I might be concerned about. So I think that might be the best idea to have the AHA program have its own subcommittee, as we have done with other programs that we have currently. If we can all agree upon that, maybe we can have that set and decide which 2 commissioners we can put on the subcommittee, and moving forward, work with that.
Chair Zadorian and commissioners, this is Mike Grant. You won't be able to make that decision today about a subcommittee. We'll have to bring it up at the next meeting. Also, that any subcommittee meeting would be subject to the Brown Act. so it would have to be, noticed as well.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. We've done that in the past. Okay. And it can always be a Zoom meeting as well, correct? A video conference, but it's recorded?
Yes.
That works.
You could also be moving forward, when we do the last round of which proposals you want to move forward with, then
Yes.
staff can do the
Okay.
research and.
Okay, because you can always share those documents on a Zoom call and make it so much easier. Okay, then we can go ahead and move forward and then we can discuss that after.
Okay, Proposal 6, I am a small business, Glendale.
Okay. So I'm assuming this artist is a photographer.
Yes.
And he or she is going to photograph 5 to 10 small business owners in Glendale with audio recordings. So more documentary style photography. And how is it going to be displayed? Where is it going to be displayed?
From my understanding, it's going to live online. The artist has done this previously within Highland Park. What's within the artist's website right now. So my assumption would be that it would live online, but yes, that is a question for clarification. The proposal also says at the end here, if the committee chooses to print the images for display at some point, that can be done. Photos are printed on aluminum with a special ink layering process that renders depth and an almost 3D quality. The prints that are then given a clear top coat, which protects them and makes maintenance and easy as wipe down and clean off dust. So that's also a hard copy display that would be available as well.
Okay.
But I don't think that is included within the 5,000. That would be something additional if the commission decides to move forward with that.
Okay. All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Oshagan?
Yes, Jennifer, could you read that again, the type of print? I think it kind of got cut off.
Sure. The photos are printed on aluminum with a special ink layering process that renders depth and an almost 3D quality.
Yeah, so that kind of depends on whether there's an exhibit venue or not. And so that's not part of the budget, as you're saying. The budget is just to produce these photographs as well as the interviews, recordings of their story of these owners, yes?
Correct, yes. So the quick budget breakdown that the artist has here is camera lighting rental, sound equipment rental to kind of record what's going on within the store, retouching, sound editing, and website development. So there would be an audio aspect of the installation that would be overlaid with audio interviews of the store owner, edited interactions with customers if the location is open, and ambient sounds recorded in and around the shop.
Okay, I would make sure that the 5 to 10 business owners represent the diversity of Glendale. I think that's very important that the staff make sure that happens, especially if this person is not from Glendale. They may not be familiar with our community.
Yes.
This candidate applicant is a Glendale resident and has historic ties to Glendale, so I think that would be of utmost importance to the artist. But yes, of course, we would follow up with them to ensure that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vire?
Was there any reference in the proposal to how the businesses would be selected and how we'd be making the selection of the business owners to interview and shoot?
No, there was not. I know it's specifically focused on small business, but you're correct. There's no criteria or ways described in which the artist would choose the specific businesses. So that's a question for clarification. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, kind of reflecting on Commissioner Oshigan's question with respect to diversity. I think, that the idea is to appreciate cultural diversity as well as business diversity. So that would be one aspect. And then I'm looking at this the same way I looked at the other one, the tour. A study of various small businesses could be like an economic development project. So I'd like to understand if there's some verbiage in the application what the applicant's artistic vision is here. You know, what makes this a work of art? Is it the photography? Is it the viewpoint? Is there any statement in the app about that?
I'm sorry, I'm reading through it quickly. With the stay-at-home order, shop owners who are already facing extreme challenges close their doors indefinitely and some, unfortunately, forever. That is the main allusion to the proposal in regards to its artistic vision.
Yeah. So it's kind of a photojournalistic study. Okay. Okay. Thanks. That was my only question.
Thank you. I just had one question. So these are to be displayed online where exactly?
It doesn't have, I know the artist has a website, but the artist includes a website development and hosting for a year with a Zoom feature, specifically, if you're watching me on TV, I'm using the Zoom with your fingers, Zoom feature. But I believe that would be connected to the artist's website. We could ask if it could be connected to the ACC's website, but yes, that's a question for clarification.
Yeah. Because I agree with Commissioner Vidor, where this is great for small businesses to get exposure, especially during these times. It is a great way to promote this artist, but where does the public come into? Where does the city come into it, and where we experience it? Which part of it is the draw, really? So definitely kind of clarifying how they want to present this in a way where it's enjoyable for everybody, because not everybody will have that website information to be able to click on and see the interview and the photo. So just clarification on that as well.
Chair Zadorian?
Yes.
Could we just ask that participants mute? We're getting just a slight echo. Thank you.
I'm sorry, say that again?
There's a request for mute when you're speaking.
Oh, okay. So we can go
Not the chair, but just if folks aren't
Yes.
speaking, if they could mute their phone.
Okay.
That was all.
Thank you. Thank you. We can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 7, Commissioner Tufenkyan.
Hi. Okay, so a Mikoshi is a sacred kind of shrine that they can move around. Oh, I don't understand exactly how this is going to work. Can you please explain?
Sure. So I'll read this section of the proposal again. So Mikoshi is a Japanese portable shrine, a Shinto tradition dating back to at least 750 AD. The Mikoshi carries the village's kami, a spirit or kind of god throughout the community, for good luck and cleansing during Mikoshi Matsuri, which is Matsuri is festival in Japanese. The Matsuri is associated with an important seasonal festivity and incorporate a ritual dance or performance with chanting and hapiko. So I don't know if the commissioners are familiar with, in the Japanese community, they do summer festivals called obons, where large communities of people come together and they dance to honor the ancestors. So this would be part of that tradition as well. The actual, the shrine itself is portable. So as you can see in the screen, it's people would be carrying it. So again, we would have to ask about the social distancing aspect of it and how many people would be carrying it. I know shrines in the past have been very heavy, hundreds of pounds. I don't believe that this one would be that heavy, but that is a question in regards to how many people would be utilizing it, and also the dance and performance and kind of celebratory aspect of it, because it was proposed that performances would happen within Little Tokyo and within Glendale, and where the locations would be.
So this would be a one-day performance type.
I believe it's a series of performances. So this is another one that was very, very thorough, and it says there's a whole timeline that's associated with it. The general schedule that they have is September to November 2020 is the community engagement aspect of it, which would be the virtual workshops and talking about the history of the Mikoshi and the Matsuri, and engaging with participants on what would be incorporated within the Mikoshi. December 20 to March 2021 would be the actual fabrication. So this would be the time in which participants could receive a free art kit with molding, clay, lino cuts, and other safe materials, and guided through a virtual workshop to create their version of a Mikoshi and what elements would be part of the Mikoshi. And then April through June 2021 would be exhibitions and performances. And this is the time during which the The performances would take place in Little Tokyo and Glendale, and they're potentially talking about partnerships with the GUSD Flag Japanese Dual Immersion Program, the Friends of the Shosein, the Japanese Tea Garden, and the actual locations have not been decided, but they're talking about the dance performances like the obons and having them kind of parade throughout, have a, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but kind of a parade route or a location in which this would happen.
Wow, this is a very ambitious project. And so they would be sending out kits for people to make the mikoshi at home. Is that part of the workshop, or how it's?
Yes, this is part of the community engagement aspect. So it says the artists will do a hands-on workshop, production workshop for about 15 to 20 registered participants, and those participants would receive a free art kit. They don't it says shipped using proper safety precautions, disinfection, and quarantining of kits prior to shipping. So they would be shipping them to the actual registered participants.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, Jennifer, if you could fill us in about the organization itself, and in your opinion, do they have the ability to pull this off? As Commissioner Tefekian was saying, it's quite ambitious.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a very thought out proposal in the sense that there's various partners that are associated with this specific proposal. The artists themselves own a woodworking workshop, and they have worked with, I don't know if you've heard of the chef and Naka. They've done the furniture there. They've done this Fandango Obon, this piece that's that the artist is dancing on with Quetzal. So they are well-known woodworkers within their area of expertise. They're also proposing to partner with the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center, and which is why there was that specific title, Little Tokyo. So I think the main question would be who would be the tie or partner within Glendale if this were proposal to push forward.
Does that answer your question?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Vire?
Thank you.
I'm a little confused about the performance part. I understand that the workshops are online. As I understand it, the kits would be shipped ahead in order shipped to the participants in order for them to follow the workshop online. But was some of the later phase of this project requiring some public gathering? It sounds like maybe the performance component of it would require public gathering, and we don't really have a timeline for sure that we would be, we can't definitively say how many people can gather.
Mm-hmm. Those are great questions, and I'm going to read this aspect of the proposal where it says the exhibition performances would take place from April to June 2021, and our mikoshi would be carried and paraded throughout Little Tokyo and Glendale, and eventual performances in Boyle Heights, Sato Japantown, South Los Angeles, and historically Nikkei AAPI communities. They would have up to 10 dancers, ideally made up of artists and community members from Little Tokyo, Glendale, and across Greater Los Angeles, and they'll carry the mikoshi using choreographed dance and chants and wearing hop-beat coats, which signify the Mikoshi Matsuri. If we aim to do so, we aim for a small procession of 40 to 50 people, community members to dance alongside our Mikoshi Matsuri troupe as we celebrate each communities. But this would all be dependent on the Safer at Home ordinance and how they would parade and or live stream a parade within the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we certainly hope by April 2021 we can gather at that level, but thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Hi, reflecting on everybody's comments, it does seem like a very interesting, very elaborate and complicated project that really lends itself very nicely to the Friends of Socheon, the group that supports the Japanese Tea House and Garden in Brand Park, really lends itself to their annual Cherry Blossom Festival, which is a very big event. I don't know if any of you guys have been to. I think they're going on now the third year in a row of doing this, and of course this year they had to cancel it because there's a lot of attendees, sometimes up to 1,000, and a lot of activities, and it just wasn't going to be right this year. And whether or not it would be right for next year is still up for grabs, but it seems like that particular venue and that organization would be an extremely good partner for this activity, and that, certainly the commission, which I don't think as of yet has been involved too much in the Japanese Cherry Blossom Festival that happens annually, but this could be our contribution for it, but that there's just too much interaction and interconnectivity of physical bodies here to make this part of the COVID arts program we're looking at. So that's my opinion of it. And, maybe there's an opportunity for a partnership with the commission and with the Friends of Socheon.
That's a great recommendation. And as Commissioner Vire stated, hopefully the ordinance will have been lifted by 2021. But we can definitely have that as a question to the artist in regards to the social distancing aspect of the performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you might, if it's appropriate for you to do so, might want to contact Mike Belzer, the president of the Friends of Socheon, and see if he's aware and if he would be interested in getting involved.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I agree with all my fellow commissioners. My only thing is that I think we can recommend that some of these are actually brought up at a different meeting. So this is one of those that I think we can discuss further down the line, since this would be something for when people are able to perform and whatnot, and kind of in association with the Japanese Tea Garden events. So I think my recommendation would be to not include it in this motion to pass specific proposals. I would wait to hold this one off until maybe the June or July meeting. So that would be my recommendation. I don't have any other questions as of right now.
Director Schaefer?
I think that's completely acceptable.
Silvana, if I could just say something. So are we going to sort of split it up in this way? This has come up twice now, whether we're only going to be dealing with proposals that deal with COVID-19 and our current situation right now. Is it focused on that now? I mean, if that's then, and then it's something like this that's more wide and more community-based, more art-based is going to go later. It's not clear in my mind because traditionally, as it was before, was much more just art happens anywhere. There's no specific COVID-19 thing in it. So we should kind of maybe decide on that so that we can be clear as well how we're approaching it.
I agree. My only thing is that something like this, when we could, because there's no limit to how many we propose, it's just kind of like a budget that we have to stay within. For me, it was more of that this one we can discuss at next month, and this time we can pass all the ones that we want immediately to go into effect and we want to have up immediately. And this one wouldn't be starting until September anyways. So we could have this brought up at the next time. And it's always up to what you guys want. I don't want to make a final decision. I'm just bringing up that we don't have to make a decision on this one yet because we can find out more information and then decide down the line, because this one we have the time. Compared to the other ones, which kind of, we want to be more relevant as to what people can enjoy right now during a quarantine. This one's not as, you can't really enjoy this one just yet. So I would hold off on this one. But whatever you guys prefer, we can go with. Do we have any against or for?
Okay, no, Gary had something to say, I think, about this. Maybe.
It was similar. I mean, there were elements in this proposal that could happen sooner than later, but, you hate to limit the artists and what they're trying to accomplish. Yeah. So given that the timeline is later, we're having a meeting next month, the following month. So I could definitely see, Chair Zadorian's point, and the fact that it's, we still have, we still have the time. And, yes, art happens anywhere, but there's just certain limits that we have right now on, gatherings and whatnot. So I would have to concur with Chair Zadorian on this.
Commissioner O'Shea, did you have any other comments, or was that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay, that's good.
Thank you. Okay, we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 8 with Love from LA. Commissioner Tufenkyan?
Okay. So with Love from LA, I really like that there is a music element, and it seems very interesting, and it's all digitally transmitted. So I think that would be very interesting. But I would be interested to know who the artists are, what is the programming. This is a 6-month-long series, and what does the series entail?
So I'll read this paragraph in the proposal, which says it's an online virtual offering conceived by musicians and performers, showcasing different LA County artists each month with a family-friendly live stream concert, solo or duo format, depending on social distancing regulations. And in conversation online with a creative peer discussing what LA means to them, their approach to their art, and this quote-unquote new normal. Personal approaches to wellness through their art and day-to-day lifestyle, and the importance of function community as the landscape and ecosystem of live music lies decimated with no indication of when or how it may return. Each month will feature 2 live streams, and in the conversation broadcast and music performance live stream concert, proudly introducing LA audiences all over the world to these creative artists. The artists that they're proposing were the ones on the screen: Lina Fornaya, Carlos Nino and Miguel Atwood Ferguson, Josh Johnson and Jeff Parker are some of the names that were also included, as well as Low Leaf, which is a musician, vocalist, and sound healer.
And have you listened to their clip that they've sent? Can we listen to it?
This has not been done yet, so they did not have any specific artistic documentation with how it's done. But in regards to, I'm alluding to Commissioner Oshagan's question in regards to experience, this particular artist is extremely well known in the music community, and I was actually surprised that this artist proposed. So I have total confidence in this person's ability to produce this. But I agree in regards to your questions in regards to what the kits would look like and how would it look like with the live stream. And it's saying here it could be potentially broadcast in the featured artist Homer Studio and be broadcast on YouTube Live with permanent post broadcast replay. So there's, yes, the questions of quality, I think, is what you're also alluding to, and consistency and quality.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oshagan?
I just have difficulty listening to live stream music. It's just very difficult for me. So I will say that up front. And I appreciate the fact that Jennifer, you described that this is a well-known artist, and I think it would be we want to collaborate with such artists. The only other thing I would say is we need to somehow connect this work to the series The Glendale, because it's completely virtual. It could be done with anything, anywhere. And so I think we need to think a little bit about how Glendale, the city, besides the fact there at the beginning somebody may stay, or at the end, this is supported by the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission, somehow figure out a way to connect the city to this series of live streams. That's all I have.
Absolutely, I 110% agree with you, and that was the major question I had when reviewing this proposal, is to ensure exactly whether we have the proposal can include at least 2 to 3 Glendale musicians, or how Glendale artists can also be showcased as part of this series. So I completely agree with you.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Villar?
No, I don't have any questions. I would just like to say I 100% agree that the relevance to Glendale needs to be somehow incorporated. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
No additional questions. Everything that was mentioned is my concern as well.
Okay, Thank you. So my concern is that, as Commissioner Oshagan stated, if there is no relevance to Glendale, does that mean we don't want to move forward with this? Because if they don't, I mean, how are they supposed to? I think. Does that mean that we want artists from Glendale? Does that mean we want a specific live stream for only Glendale artists in Glendale locations? Like, what is it we're looking for specifically? Commissioner Oshagan, I think maybe you can help me out with that. What do you envision when you say relevance to Glendale? Like, what would be the best case scenario?
You're asking me?
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. Just like when you say relevance to Glendale, what are we looking for?
I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about that. It's not very clear to me how we would. And I guess it's a question that I don't have really answer to it. So maybe just being the Glendale Art Commission name being associated to an artist of, I don't know this artist, but according to Jennifer, is a well-known artist. Being the association perhaps is enough. I'm beginning to hear in art circles, for instance, that Glendale is becoming a really important place for artists. People who've heard about this, the AHA call, and clearly all the great exhibitions Brand is doing. It's bringing attention to the city. So perhaps association is sufficient. I don't have a clear answer right now for that.
Okay.
I agree.
Chair Zadorian.
Oh.
Yes.
This is Gary Schaefer. I would just concur with what Commissioner Oshagan said. And, it may be, I'm not saying commercials are placed within, but, if we're talking about this month at the Brand Library and Art Center, there's, the works on the internationally juried works on paper, or this, at this point we're doing this during this art exhibition during Tech Week, or we did this during that, or this happened at Brand, or, just kind of, quite frankly, guilt by association, where we're kind of bringing this, Glendale via the Arts and Culture Commission is bringing you this, and here are some of the art happenings in Glendale. Might serve as a very good vehicle to get us outside of the community and even more well known.
Yeah.
Just for consideration.
This is Jennifer. I agree with both Commissioner Oshagan's and Director Schaefer's comments. I think I would think that this would be a proposal that we would follow up for clarification. Yeah. I would hate to miss the opportunity to work with this artist. This artist has performed at the San Francisco Jazz Festival and grand performances, and is a pretty well-known local jazz musician, which is why he has the connections to these musicians. So I think for further clarification, it would be good to follow up with him to somehow incorporate Glendale or the suggestions that were mentioned before.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, then we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 9, Armenian Traditional Dance and Music. Commissioner Tufekyan.
Just to quickly state, we're at 4 o'clock or almost 4 o'clock. So
we want to move along a little faster. I'm sorry.
I guess just logistics. How is this going to work out?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Commissioner Oshagan. Well, I think we're all gonna have the same questions on this one, so maybe we can answer. Oh, Jennifer can answer, and then we'll move forward. Sorry about that.
Sure. Yeah. So logistically, they are proposing 3 locations in Glendale: a senior living facility, a hospital, and a low-income housing building. They did not include specific locations, so that's a clarification we would have to have with them. They're proposing to interact and engage with elders and caretakers, hospital staff, and low-income families. Again, with social distancing, I don't know how that's possible at this point, but it could be possible in the future. They did not share specific locations in the sense of, are you going to perform in the parking lot of the hospital, or is there a courtyard in the senior living facility? So I agree with you in regards to the logistics of it. I need further clarification.
Okay, Commissioner Oshagan.
Yeah. So this is perhaps to go with the Japanese proposal at a later time, because we really can't be proposing music in the parking lot in front of the senior center right now. So, good.
Agreed. Okay, Commissioner Byer.
No question.
Okay, Commissioner Vidor.
Yeah, it's a really lovely and great idea. The performances as well as how they're planning to present and to whom they're going to present, but we got to put this off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
same deal.
Okay, so then I agree with all of the commissioners, but I want clarification as to what 15,000 budget is going to be, like, what is the proposal for the 15,000? I mean, typically we don't like to ask artists like for details as to what they're spending money on, but because it is a musical performance and they're going to public places, I want to know kind of what the proposed budget is for exactly. So that, as well as if they're willing to wait and perform at a later time.
I can quickly go down the budget
Okay,
line.
please.
So the personnel, which would basically include 4 dancers, 4 musicians, and 2 singers. So that's, in my math, what is that, 10 people? Can I do math in my head? For 3 concerts is approximately $10,800. And then equipment would be amplification, extension cords, and potentially a canopy tent if they would need it, would be about $4,100.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, then we can go ahead and move forward to proposal number 10, color and dance.
Again, it's going to be the same thing. Logistics. How is this going to work out?
Yeah. So this one's an online series, but if you want to explain it.
Yes, so this would be, they don't have a specific timeline, or other than the fact that it would take place over 2 months every Saturday. So that, yes, timeline is, I think, a major question here.
Okay. Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, I would question. I think music is hard enough online, but dance, I think, is even more difficult to interact with online. So I would have a question about this myself.
Okay. Commissioner Vier?
Not really a question, but speaking from experience, trying to take my dance class online, it doesn't work very well to watch dance online, I don't think. I mean, I don't think it's as engaging as just music.
Yeah.
So it's just very different.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Hi, yeah, what everybody else said, but I don't know if any of you who are on Facebook, yesterday I posted a really beautiful COVID-era piece that the Houston Ballet put on, where all the dancers were at home in different places around the country, and they coordinated they did a beautifully choreographed piece together, but they were like on Zoom, so everybody was in a different frame, but they were dancing together. And if it was something like that, maybe in a Glendale environment, like at, on the Brand Plaza, which would, of course, be deserted, and they could be socially distant, or they were going to be in individual frames in a Zoom type of environment, then I would say it had some merit. But right now, I don't think it's doable, unless they did it that way.
Agreed. And agree with all of that. I would also add same thing as the last. Like, what is the relevance to Glendale, especially if it's an online series? How is that going to tie in Glendale residents specifically?
Mm-hmm.
So we can incorporate all that and get some feedback from the artist and the proposed artist and hear back. So now that we've finished all 10, I'm realizing that there isn't a specific one that we can really vote on today because we need feedback on all of them to see. Can somebody who's unmuted please mute? Just to see what they come back with, and then I think we can vote. If everybody agrees, maybe we can hold off on passing the motion as of today. Unless there's a specific one that we think we can vote on. If there's one specific proposal that you guys think we can do today, I am okay with that. But I think most of them, we needed feedback and more information. Do we all agree?
Savannah?
Yes.
Savannah, I think we kind of agree that some of them can be postponed,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So those would be another one category. I think we all kind of agree that the 10th one is really we're not really interested in it. So maybe that could be not pursued.
So 10, 9, and 7 can be moved as of right now, but we still need the information from all those artists regardless.
11 also.
Where's 11?
Right. Oh, sorry. No, sorry, 9. I'm looking at the page number. Right. 9, right.
9,
like
10, and 7.
And we're,
Yes.
Commissioner Oshigan, are you proposing to eliminate number 10?
Yes, because it seems to me that none of the commissioners were really very positive about watching dance online.
We can move forward with 7 and 9 at a later time. Are there of the remaining proposals, are there ones that need immediate feedback that you would like more information on, or do you want to pursue all remaining 9?
I would prefer to get more information back before we make any decisions. Kind of just have the same discussion next time. I know that would make it a discussion item for today, but I think we all agree that we're not going to vote. Just because Commissioner Vidor did have comments about the 10th proposal, I don't want to take it off the table just yet. I know she was interested and she did say that there is some merit to it and having a dance online series. So I don't know if we want to just keep it on as of right now and get more information until next time for all of them. And then we can take it off next time if we do agree, just to get more information, if that's okay with everybody.
Well, my idea about the dance was I agree with what all of you are saying about it should be relevant to Glendale, either in a Glendale venue or Glendale dancers or both. And if that's not the case, we could take it off the table.
Okay.
But yeah, it has to be a virtual thing where people are separated to be acted upon right now.
Yeah. So would you like to keep it on as of right now or take it off the table?
I would say, since we have so many proposals here, and some of them are quite good and feasible, we should just move it to the side with, like the Japanese shrine thing,
Okay.
and just set it aside and focus on the ones that have immediate relevance
Okay.
to our situation.
Agreed. So 7, 9, and 10 will be moved aside as of right now just for more information and for a later time. The rest we can just get some feedback on for the next meeting and we'll be ready to vote then. Okay, thank you so much. I think
And Jennifer, is this, would this be it, or are we going to have a second round of applicants, or?
The application is still open. I received a major influx, as you can imagine, right before the deadline was due. So I could review again when the next deadline would be closing. I think I was going to propose it to close, pardon me, I'm looking at my calendar, June 12th, which is the Friday prior to the next commission meeting, so that I would have more time to review the applications. But yes, I can bring similarly the top of that pool of applicants for review and consideration.
Perfect.
Okay. I think we're ready to go ahead and move on to our next action item, 5B.
Okay, action item 5B, report on the Brand Library Plaza series. Motion to approve the broadcasting of pre-recorded video performance for the first 6 concerts of the Brand Library Plaza series. And so in regards to this specific report, the analysis is that, as we all know, the Brand Library series has been from 2014 to 2019. We've been steadily increasing audiences of over 300 attendees per concert. At the February 20th meeting, the commission approved a motion to program 12 concerts for the 2020 Brand Library series from June to August 2020. In March 2020, the United States declared the national emergency for the global pandemic, and following this announcement, several outdoor performing arts venues such as the Hollywood Bowl, Ford Theaters, Independent Shakespeare Company in Griffith Park, and the Levitt Pavilions in Los Angeles and nationally have all decided to cancel summer programming due to adherence to social distancing requirements with the goal of preventing the coronavirus. So staff has done research and reached out to the first 6 artists of the Brand Library Plaza series to assess their interest and ability to have their ensemble pre-record footage for the Brand Plaza series. If approved, the first 6 artists of the concert series would pre-record footage that would be released on the same date, time as the original performance date, and performance footage would remain on the Commission's website for up to 90 days. Director Schaefer, is there anything you'd like to include as part of this report?
Yes, unfortunate news. So our hope was, we've tried to do everything we can to present this. And so we were looking at every different thing. And unfortunately, the artists, while willing to perform, they want to do it in a venue together where they could socially distance and be filmed. And the problem is we specifically dive into the county order, which I'm going to read to you. It doesn't really allow for filming. So the order reads, and I quote, "Nothing in this order prohibits members of a single household or living unit from engaging in permitted activities together, but gatherings of people who are not part of a single household or living unit are prohibited within the County of Los Angeles public health jurisdiction except for the limited purposes expressly permitted by the order." The order continues closure of the following types of higher risk businesses, recreational sites, commercial properties, activities, where more frequent and prolonged person-to-person contacts are likely to occur. All events and gatherings unless specifically allowed by this order. So the problem we're running into is even the filming is prohibited, and the city doesn't want to be telling its residents that you can't engage in particular activities and then turn around and engage in those activities. We do anticipate orders to change, or I should say evolve. And so it is possible that at a future meeting we could come back to you and look to reinstate some of the concerts, but given that even the Los Angeles County Fair, which is held, as you all know, in September, has even canceled, and there's obviously lots of musical performances there, I can only, like in good conscience, recommend, unfortunately, that we cancel the series, even filming the series, and I'm sorry to report that. That concludes my comments. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Tufengian, did you have any questions?
Just that's very unfortunate. Is there any other way that we can do this? I think the community is also looking for things that are spiritually inspiring and need that kind of outlet or something to inspire them. So I think people would be looking forward to this. Is there any other way that we can think of to make this happen?
So, Chair Zadorian, Commissioner Tufengian, fellow commissioners, as we, looked at it, I mean, my vision was, like some sort of, Zoom performance, which all the artists were actually opposed to. And I don't know if any of you have tried to engage in the simple singing of Happy Birthday on Zoom or some other kind of collaborative media, but it doesn't collaborate very well. So I think that's, we have to give them credit for their artistic integrity. They want to sound good as much as we would want them to sound good. So, other commissioners?
Yeah, Commissioner Oshagan, did you have any questions?
No, I'm wondering, it's very sad, and I can understand the reasoning behind it, and clearly we can't have people come together when it's prohibited. Is this going to reflect on any of the AHA projects that we're thinking of funding? I think we should also consider that as we move forward, that's all.
Yeah. Commissioner Vire?
I just thought of the same thing that Commissioner Oshagan asked about, which would be circling back to the proposals that we just reviewed. That gives us another dimension that Dr. Schaefer reported on, that we need to think about the filming, ones that require filming. And having heard Dr. Schaefer and some other people try to sing Happy Birthday to me over Zoom, I concur that with the performers that don't want to perform via Zoom. That's
I do think the orders are going to be evolving, so I think there could be opportunity later in the summer or opportunities for some of the AHA performances. So, I think there is still some hope.
Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, I guess I totally misunderstood the proposal. I thought we were going back into the archives and kind of, cherry picking some great performances that had already occurred at the plaza and either doing vignettes or montage or individual, performances that stand alone, but that already existed, and that we were going to try to have these musicians perform together. So if there is, this is a totally different thing I'm talking about here that really doesn't relate to what was in the proposal. So is it possible for us to do that to it doesn't help the current musicians that have been selected, but can we at least pull out some of the things we've done in the past and, introduce the audience online to what goes on at the Plaza Series?
I think that's a very interesting proposal. This is Director Schaefer. There might be some copyright issues, but there's nothing precluding us from reaching out to those artists. So maybe there is something we can do, similar, some of you may be aware, and I'm sure Commissioner Vidor is aware of the Brand at Home kind of email that the Brand Library and Arts Center is doing. And so certainly that would even offer sort of, if you would, a venue where we could collect that. We could almost do like a montage, or even if it was photojournalism with some music in the background that we had copyright availability for, to kind of just do like a photo montage or slideshow. I know certainly, Commissioner Vidor, I'm sure you've taken many photos and you've been involved with the Brand Plaza series much longer than most of the rest of us here. If there has been filming that's happened, certainly you've probably taken a lot of photographs. Maybe that would be something we could explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there certainly are tons and tons of photographs. Many of them are already on social media. But I happened to, when I saw this Houston Ballet thing, which just really got me excited because it seemed like a great solution to the social distancing issue, I got in touch with Jamie Nichols, who's the dance curator for the Brand Dance Series. And she takes a lot of photographs and a lot of video, and she immediately sent me videos that she had taken. So I would imagine that either the musicians themselves or people in the audience or Brand staff have done videoing, and Jamie certainly has a lot of video of her dance performances, and perhaps we can just approach the musicians and the dancers whose work at the Brand is, immortalized on video, and see if we can get a hold of that and use it. The photographs are nice to have, but I think the video recreation of the performances would be great.
So if, there certainly is, the budget would be minimal to do that. It's mostly labor and work would be the only difficulty. But if folks are open to that, I don't think it'd be necessarily we would be able to create, some sort of video montage to run every Friday night, like a different one. But I think we could put something together that, might be a short vignette or something that could be edited together to make something. I think that's a good idea. We'd certainly be willing to investigate that.
Thank you. That would be great, and I'm happy to help in any way I can to find materials.
Thank you.
Thank you. So then I guess we will not be motioning to approve funding for artist proposals. Motioning to approve the broadcasting of pre-recorded videos just yet until we found out more about the archiving.
It would be the alternative, is I think what's on the table at this point. Would be to cancel the series.
To cancel the series?
That was what my understanding
until
is.
further notice and changes are made to this, the ordinances in LA County. Are we all on board with that if we were to make a motion?
And I would just suggest that we leave a minimal amount of funding or a yet to be determined amount of funding, just in case there are costs to hire a video editor to do this work when canceling it, so that we have some funding. If we cancel the series, presumably the funding goes away. Obviously, the Arts and Culture and the Art Fund retain the funds, but it's just not budgeted to that line item, that we keep, I can't imagine it being more than $5,000, probably far less, but just to make sure that we have some funding and if we need to hire a video editor to put this stuff together.
Okay.
And also get copyright permissions.
If I may, I just went on YouTube, and there are a ton of Plaza Series videos on YouTube under the My Glendale and on the My Glendale channel. So perhaps even GTV6 could, for some amount of money that we could offer, they could put together montages or make it available for us to broadcast to people over the internet, because there's already a lot actually that's there.
Okay, that's good to know. I would ask the city attorney's office to weigh in on that.
Great, thank you.
Mike Grant, any thoughts on rights to YouTube videos posted?
Chair Zadorian and commissioners, we'll look into it, okay? I mean, we really don't know what the original agreements were until we look at them. So we can look at them and we can get back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then we can go ahead and make a motion to approve to cancel the broadcasting of pre-recorded video performances until further notice, but leaving a minimum amount of $5,000.
Mr. Grant, I would defer in regards to language for the motion, but I believe the motion would be to cancel the Brand Library Plaza series.
Well, I mean, it's up to the commission. If you can do a formal motion canceling it. I think you have given direction to staff at this point. But I mean, if you want to do a formal motion, yes, it would be because of the social distancing and other health and safety measures put in place. The Arts and Culture Commission hereby canceled the Brand Library series and direct staff to look into to investigate the rebroadcasting of previous performances, and I think essentially that would be the motion.
And what about the 5,000 or whatever we might need to relocate for budgeting?
You can add that and direct, and direct staff to use up to $5,000 of the 1920 budget for this purpose.
Okay.
Can they say so moved?
Well, no, they can't. Somebody has to make that motion.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make
second it.
I motion to cancel the Brand Library series, unfortunately, and direct staff to look into rebroadcasting and only use up to 5,000 of the budget on this specific item. Do I have a second?
Second, it's Arlene.
Okay, Commissioner Vidor. Thank you.
We'll do roll call. Commissioners Oshagon,
Yes.
Bayar,
Yes.
Vidor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tufankian,
Yes.
Chairperson Zadorian.
Yes.
Agenda item 5C, report on the Museum of Neon Arts check-in gathering. So the background is this, and there's also an exhibit 1, which refers to the email from the Museum of Neon Art. There was an email that was sent from the Executive Director of Neon Art, Corey Siegel, in regards to having arts and culture representatives of Glendale convene for an arts check-in gathering. And this is specifically in regards to having a representative from the commission to be appointed to attend the gatherings. To attend the gatherings and to advise the Museum of Neon Art on commission initiatives and to periodically update the commission on gatherings.
Does anybody want to, recommend a commissioner or themselves?
Well, I have a question. Because if I want to be involved in that as a gallerist, how would that conflict? And would I be there as a gallerist and a commissioner, or would it have to be one or the other? And if I'm there as a gallerist and someone else is there as a commissioner, how would that work?
City Attorney Representative Mike Grant, do you know?
Well, Commissioner, you would be in the capacity of just your own gallery, correct?
Yes. I could be as both, or I could be just as the gallerist, and I just want to put it out there and make that clarification. Would I be as both? Would I just be as the gallerist and someone else would be as the commissioner? Or, is that going to be...
Well, again, if they nominate you in this position, I mean, you would be, the representative from the commission. I mean, you can also represent, be your own representative of your gallery. I don't think you would be appointed by the commission here as both, but you would be the commission representative.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So does that mean? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If I could just, so I'm kind of in the same situation with Reflect Space. I haven't spoken with my supervisor about this at the library yet, but I've received the same invitation. So if I do end up going as Reflect Space representative, I would recluse myself from going as the commission representative. That would make more sense, and I would probably suggest that for Caroline also.
Mm-hmm.
So to make life easier, should we just recommend one of the other three commissioners for right now? Or is it something that either one of you really would like to do?
Well, I was originally invited kind of, I don't think, I was on that invitation as well, and I don't think Ms. Siegel intended to invite me as a commissioner. I think she, we had kind of informally met each other, and I think that it was just, somebody who's an arts advocate and interested in what's going on in the community and is involved with the Brand Library and stuff like that. So my interest was in that, as somebody who supported the Museum of Neon Art early on and is a member and is interested in the museum. I was just interested in it as a concerned citizen. So I don't necessarily think I'd want to, be an official commission representative, but I was very interested in engaging with Mona. So
the other problem would be that if, let's say, Commissioner Tufenkian was there on behalf of her gallery, and then Commissioner Oshagan was there on behalf of Reflect Space, and one other person is there, that would make three commissioners in one space. Obviously, they wouldn't have to specifically be discussing any kind of items, but would that be against the Brown Act, or would that be okay if there was a separate commissioner with the other two?
No, you would have to, at most, it would only could be two commissioners.
Okay. Then I would recommend that one of those commissioners just be appointed. And when they are at the meetings, kind of just be in the capacity of a commissioner.
Well, it sounds like Commissioner Oshagan and Commissioner Tufenkian, who have direct involvement with other Central Glendale, they should both be there.
Okay. So who from those two would like to be recommended? Or we can just go ahead and make a recommendation? Does either of you?
All right, you want to take on?
So I do, but then, I guess that would make sense if we decide Reflect Space will be involved with this. There be somebody else on the library representing Reflect Space. Then yes, then that would work. Yeah.
Then I motion to appoint Commissioner Ara Oshagan as the representative from the Commission for the Arts Check-in Gatherings. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we can take a vote.
Who was that?
Was that Tufenkian?
Second.
I think that was Commissioner Vidor.
Okay. Both of you?
Got it. Okay, roll call.
The second and third at the same time.
Okay.
I'm going to put down Vidor. That's who I heard.
Okay.
Roll call Commissioners Oshagan?
Yes.
Vyar?
Yes.
Vidor?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tufenkian?
Yes.
Chairperson Zadorian?
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 6, discussion items. A, 2019-20 work plan progress. So the first item up on this discussion item is citywide art, specifically the art consultant RFP, which is included in your packet as part of Exhibit 1. Staff has incorporated, were first presented the draft at the February 20th, 2020 regular meeting. Staff has incorporated the edits, and this is the final version for review. So this is an opportunity to incorporate any last recommendations before we publish it.
You're talking about the RFP?
Yes, the art consultant RFP, which is Exhibit 1.
Do we have any questions? We can start with Commissioner Tufekcion.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
It's immediately following the report for 6A, so it should be part of your packet towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Okay, Commissioner Oshagan?
Yeah, I have three different things I'd like to say about this. I'll make them quick. So in the beginning of the first page and go to the second page, there's a list of the potential artworks. I think, even though it does mention that these are going to be all over the city in the previous paragraph, but I think maybe we need one bullet point there that points to different, temporary art, sculptures or installations, different places in the city, like we talked about in, on the Median, on Brand, or in Central Park, or, on the Median along Glen Oak, different places in the city. So I think pointing that out specifically would be nice, so that the curator is also thinking in that direction, where there's going to be art installations all over the city, different places where it's possible to put work. That's my first point. I think we could mention that there could be partnerships with other arts organizations in Glendale. So, I didn't read every single thing in here. I did go through it, though. So I think that could be something that could be suggested to the consultant, that they partner with the arts organization in Glendale. Then the third thing is in terms of presenting the portfolio of these potential consultants. I think, I said 10 images of work that they've done before. I would also highly recommend including some kind of description of the project that they've done. I think how people speak about the work that they've done, what they've written about the work that they've done is really, really critical. It's almost as important as the actual work. And so not only 10 images of the work, but also they should select, some contextual information or something they've written of the curation that they've done, of the installation that they've done, something that they've done together in collaboration with an artist or a group of artists. So I am very, 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 I'm very, 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 very happy we finally are at this point where this is ready to go. I look at the timeline, it's still many months down the line, but at least we're here. Thank you, Jennifer, and the whole library staff. I know this was a difficult thing, as well as the Mike for your input on this. So thank you very much, and I'm very, very happy that we're here at this point.
Thank you. Commissioner Vire?
Thank you.
Nothing, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, first of all, of course, Jennifer and Mike and whoever else has been involved in this, I know you two certainly have. It's very comprehensive, and it really was exciting to read it. It's great. But, I guess I'm an editor at heart, and I just started writing things down, so I have a few comments. And I also wrote my comments down, so if you want me to send them, if that would be better, but I'll try to summarize them quickly. I felt on number 2, the project background and description, that there may be some words we want to minimize. On iconic art, rather than open up the sculptural piece, that kind of sort of suggests something that comes to my mind is not something necessarily attractive. So maybe we could say multi-dimensional piece, such as a sculpture or something else. And maybe indicate that we'd like these things to be interactive and immersive and experiential. I think those three words kind of summarize a type of art that we're looking for that goes above and beyond the traditional. So we should use those words as much as we can. The idea of a must-see attraction, that was a great way of putting it. On gateway art, I think a work positioned at one of the city's main gateways, examples being archways or other unique signage or portals into Glendale would be good, but opening with the word arch, you know, that can be pedestrian, and I would want our proposal to discourage people who want to, you know, make a traditional arch and put a sign on it to rethink what they're going to do. So there was a little bit of a rewrite there. Overhead art, I thought that was fine. Monumental signage, an artwork or series of artworks that thematically serve to brand Glendale's Arts and Entertainment District in a unique manner. And when we say Arts and Entertainment District here, is that to mean ArtSoc Plaza? Because we've already mentioned ArtSoc Plaza once. So are we planning to do, you know, one type of art and then another type of art specific to ArtSoc? So that's a question I have. Digital projections, a visual installation that plays out in the environment, and then give examples of what that might be. Buildings, and I thought, mention buildings, streetscape, landscape, parking structures, and other environments within the city, so that people think very broadly about where these digital projections could go. And then I thought maybe we should add murals, as I don't know if we need to, but that's a big area of art, wall art, that we know that we're a little bit deficient on because we've never done much of it. So maybe that could be added. Yeah. Then number 3 on the scope of work.
Wait, Arlene, in the interest of time, and because I'm going to be sending in comments as well, do we want to just send these comments in?
I'm happy to submit my comments.
Just because it'll also be easier for Jennifer to get all of this down.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather not go through all this.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and email them to her so she has them.
Sure. Okay. Yes, perfect. I would be happy to do that because they just go on and on. There's, you know, some for each section.
Good.
So I will send them in. Thanks.
Okay. Perfect. I will do the same as well. So then, does anybody else have any other comments they wanted to make? Feel free to please email Jennifer any changes or recommendations that you wanted to make as to the RFP.
Yes, I would say as soon as possible, ideally no later than Wednesday, May 27th, with the goal of releasing it by June.
Okay.
Or early June.
I will send my comments in right away.
Perfect. Thank you. Then we can go ahead and move forward to the next item, neighborhood arts.
Neighborhood arts, so staff has begun to reach out to the prospective artists that we discussed at the last meeting for the Adams Square Park gas station, and we're currently working with scheduling and sending out artist agreements, so that is en route. Performing arts, we had discussed already with the Brand Library Plaza series. The finance department had submitted a bid requisition for an event management company, so staff will plan to move forward with canceling that bid requisition for the Brand Library Plaza series. Arts and cultural events, due to the effects of COVID-19, we're in the process of confirming our next steps for the Glendale Art Walk RFP process. Originally, the timeline was to have the Glendale Art Walk RFP to take place in October of 2020, so that, as you can imagine, the timeline has dramatically shifted. With the original timeline of we would have had hired an RFP, art walk consultant, thank you. So wanted to bring that to the commission's attention in regards to potentially adding it as an action item or a discussion item for next time in regards to the timeline, if there is an updated timeline for the art walk.
Okay, beautiful. Any questions or comments?
Are you taking people in order?
Let's go ahead and do that. Vice Chair Tufenkian, sorry, I've been calling you Commissioner this entire time.
That's okay. No questions. Just wanted to thank Jennifer for all that she's done. I mean, we have a few things that we've had to cancel, but altogether, I think there's been a lot of great strides forward with the RFP and AHA. So thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Oshagan?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Vire?
No questions.
Commissioner Vidor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just had one on Adams Square and the, obviously postponed art exhibits. Can we now share some of that information on the neighborhood social media, or is it, and not say when it's going to happen, but here's something to look forward to?
Sure. So the agreements,
great.
and I will send you in an email the ones that we have confirmed. So the quilters are going to be installing in June. Following that, we have Jennifer Swain, who sent in her agreement, and we're finalizing that agreement. And then also Valerie Duvall, who was a previous artist who was going to install earlier.
Okay.
So those three for sure we can move forward with, and I'll send you the information for that via email.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Chair Zadorian, Jennifer, what about the young man, the student? Is there any way to get him posted for a few weeks at least before the quilters go up, or not really?
I had reached out to that applicant, and because he was a high school student and that was his senior portfolio or his senior project, unfortunately he couldn't finish it due to COVID-19. He didn't have access to the studio, so unfortunately he has withdrawn his application because it was an unfinished project.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
All right. My apologies to him for this thing that's happening to all of us, but is particularly heartbreaking when it comes to 18-year-olds and, high school graduates and college graduates.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you. I would also like to thank Mike Grant and Jennifer for all the work they put into the art consultant RFP, as well as everything else that we've discussed today. It took a lot of time and energy, and during these hard times, I know it's a little hard to be able to focus when you're at home and there's so many things happening. So thank you very much for putting all your time and energy into making everything perfect for us. And with that, we can go ahead and move forward to commission staff comments. We can go ahead and get started with Commissioner Vice Chair Tu Phan Kyon. Did you have any comments?
No comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Oshagan?
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
That's it.
Commissioner Vire?
I'm impressed with the way you all can work under these conditions and continue to be well. Stay safe. Thank you.
Commissioner Vidor?
Ditto to what Commissioner Vire said, and wondering if we have any chance to adopt the model of City Council in terms of the conduct of the meeting with, WebEx and more people in the room, social distanced, or, just a question.
Yeah, I would also second that, and I would love to hear back from staff next time and see if we can maybe get the same kind of
We can certainly make the request. This is Gary Schaefer. It's just, I think the amount of staff that it takes to execute it is just kind of unbelievable. So that is the only situation. And, obviously everyone knows we're not the only commission, and City Council has been having an not exorbitant, but a great deal of many meetings of late. I think you may all be aware that they've been meeting sometimes 3 and 4 times a day. So that would be the only issue, but we'll certainly share your feedback with the powers that be, if you will.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then I would like to go ahead and just state thank you to not only Mike Grant and Jennifer, but all the staff that are behind the scenes right now watching and helping us out. Thank you very much for being here and helping us. I know we'll probably be doing the same for the June meeting, so thank you ahead of time. And that is all for my comments. So we have the next item is written communications, and there's no written communication, so we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 4:41 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching.